Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I'm Brad Shillmonger.
Greetings from Toronto.
That's it? That's all you got?
City of Toronto, province of Ontario, where we're whooping COVID-19's ass.
Bang! All right, that works.
Only 27 new cases in Toronto. Yesterday.
That's not bad. Like they actually got the nurses and doctors are taking pictures of them just hanging out, talking about no deaths today, and stuff like that. Like there's been multiple days of that. That's awesome.
Yes.
So what's up? Any comic book news? Boring week, right? We'll just say, hey, talk to you guys later. Class dismissed, all that stuff, huh?
No, not according to what I just had to type down all these topics, starting with Janelle Monáe.
Oh, geez. Okay, so here's that.
She's Storm, don't you know? Aurora Monroe has been casted.
Absolutely.
It's another light-skinned female.
My wife even posted on her Facebook page that, oh, look, Storm has already been cast. I'm like, really? Really?
She's got the body of Storm.
I guess. I've never heard of Janelle Monáe personally.
The proportions are comic book accurate, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm like that. Hey, how you doing? All right. Do you
Never
remember?
Heard of her though? She's been in a few movies. She was in the Harriet Tubman movie that just came out, I guess, a year ago now.
No, I just don't watch enough TV. Yeah. I didn't want to watch that because the directors originally wanted to cast. You guess who they wanted to cast for this?
Is this the Jennifer Gardner story?
Or Julia Roberts. Sorry. Yeah. They wanted to cast Julia Roberts.
I didn't know it was the same movie. I thought it was like a different thing that news story was. I didn't know they were talking about Harriet Tubman. That's crazy.
Yeah, they said they wanted to cast her for Harriet Tubman. I don't know if it was for that movie. I imagine it was for that movie. The Harriet Tubman movie. Like, just absolutely freaking insane to me.
Are you sure that was the same movie? My memory tells me that was something that she said in the 90s.
No, this was something recent. Yeah, this was something like maybe a year ago at most. This was something like, I don't know, right before.
All right, whatever. Janelle Monáe.
Anyway, so Lupita Nyong'o and Chadwick Boseman and Ryan Coogler went down to hang out. They like to go on different sets and visit people and say hi, what's up, and things like like promotional. And they wound up seeing Janelle Monáe there and like, hey, what's going on? Hey, got to get you in the next movie, right? In Black Panther 2, huh? Right?
Do you want a haircut?
No. So she said, "Ooh, yeah. Can you cast me as Storm?" Now, according to the report, according to Janelle herself, she says they were like, "Oh, well, we don't know if we're actually going to be doing that or not," because this was the press tour for. Janelle was doing her press tour. They were doing their press tour for Black Panther. So there was like no talk about what's going to happen in part 2. And she's like, "Can you cast me for Storm?" So she just starts talking about this now. And all of a sudden, right away, people, they read a headline because, of course, jackasses are going to write these headlines. Storm has been cast and it's Janelle Monáe and blah, 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 blah for Black Panther 2. It's lies. Janelle Monáe herself is saying, no, it's not happening. They don't have they don't have anything for the next movie. So no, it's bull. But people are stupid and comic book sites are stupid. Yeah.
But Janelle Monáe is not stupid to ask to be Storm in 2018.
No,
she must know a little something about comics to know that Storm is related to the Black Panther movie.
Yes, 100%. She did, which is very, encouraging. I like that.
Yeah, that's
and more than that, it's not even a case of her just going on Instagram and saying, "Hey, Ryan Coogler, cast me for Storm in Black Panther 2," and what all these other idiots do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's so freaking frustrating. Yeah.
You mean like Michael Simu, who did that and got Shang-Chi?
Wait, did he really do that?
He tweeted it.
And
he's like, Marvel needs a Chinese character. And then 3-4 years later, he's Shang-Chi now.
Huh. Well, that might be related. I don't know
if of course, it wasn't the tweet that got him the job.
Okay, thank you. Like 3 or 4 years later, that seems like they're just like, oh, when we're ready, we're going to put this on Rolodex. Like, I just don't see that happening. But okay. No, that's good. Whatever.
I saw him at the Raptors parade. He was in the same float as Jeremy Lin. And I'm like, wait, that's the guy from Kim's Convenience, because he hadn't been casted yet. And then a couple of weeks later, all of a sudden, that's him.
Yeah, I don't even know I think I've heard of Lim's Convenience, whatever it is.
It's a good TV show on CBC, and it might be on Netflix in America also.
There you go. It's a TV series. I didn't even realize that.
Javicia Leslie. Did I say that name right?
Javicia. Yep. Javicia Leslie. So now here's an actual announcement. Here's how these things actually work. The CW has announced, people, that Javicia Leslie has been cast for the new role of Batwoman. So
I know it's not a rumor though,
because the CW announced it.
Oh, okay, good enough for me.
Like, go figure, right? As opposed to Javicia saying, you know what I would like. So anyway, they did the thing. They did the thing where right away it's like, so she's bisexual and the character's bisexual. It's like, but you just said you were casting a completely different character. So if you're not casting Kate Kane, because she's not going to be Kate Kane, she's going to be a completely different character taking up the role of Batwoman. So Batwoman has to be a bisexual character now? I don't understand that. Anyway, whatever. So everybody trying to be PC, they decided to, cast her, and whatever. She's gorgeous. I think that she's going to play the role well. I looked at some of the trailers, some of the other show she was in. What freaking show was she in? My wife knows her, and she's like, "Oh my God, wow!" So she's like, "Yeah, look at this, look at this, look at this," and all these different things on her Facebook. And I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay, maybe she can pull this role off. Let's see." She was also showing me stuff for Janelle Monáe, so she's like, she could pull off the Regal. I was like, can she pull off like Mohawk, like big huge Mohawk, and a thief in the middle of Tokyo with Yuriko? And she's like, I don't know if she can pull that off. I was like, then the hell with her, get her out of here. But this one looks like she could pull off a version of Kate Kane.
Back to Storm. Do you have someone in mind who can pull that stuff off?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
No, I know that I suck at casting, so I don't try and cast. Because most people who think that they're good at casting, they'll be like, this person looks like, can they act?
Naomi Harris.
What's she from? I know the name.
Naomi Harris is from a lot of things. In Black and Blue, she was in the Pirates of the Caribbean as that woman who spoke a little this way.
I only saw the first one, and it was very forgettable. I don't like the Pirates movies.
All right.
More on Johnny Depp later, guys. Anyway, so also there was a blessing from Batwoman for the role of the movie.
Like Ruby Rose?
Yeah, Ruby Rose actually gave her a blessing. Did I say that? I thought I did. I was already thinking of something else. I was thinking that since we're all being PC and whatnot, I figure I would like to be in a Marvel movie. So I'm going to ask I'm going to ask Marvel if I can be Guido. From the X-Force.
Yeah.
Like my top is in proportion with my bottom. My legs aren't really skinny, and I'm not super huge and all that. But I am Italian, and I think this is like the only Italian superhero out there. So, yeah, I guess that's the only one I'm allowed to play.
No, you're also Professor Bill. You could be Professor Xavier. Just sit on that chair.
Just have that professorship.
Oh no! Oh yeah, but you don't sit on a chair. That's the issue. So.
Well, I guess by the exact same. I'm sitting on a chair now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because then I'd be playing. Why can't you get a handicap person to play the handicap? Actually, are we allowed to say handicap anymore? I think we're supposed to say handy-abled. I don't know. Like everything's PC now, man. Like words are changing. You're vilified for saying certain words and things. I don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore. I'm old.
I'm with some of the PCs. Like if you call the native people Indians, then you're just completely wrong.
Well, as somebody who's actually part Cherokee, I don't get offended by that. But, if it goes into a long conversation, like, that like the people of India are not actually the people who were discovered by Columbus in the Caribbean, which was his first of 3 or 4 trips. I think it was 3. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I can't tell you what and what not to be offended about, but it's 100% incorrect to refer to someone whose ancestry was the North American inhabitants as Indians.
Do you know that the term Eskimo actually means fish eater?
Okay.
Yeah, like how rude is that to call them all Aboriginals, indigenous people, from the north, what do you call it, Eskimos? When there's like the Inuit and all these different ones, and they just say Eskimos. It's like the more you know, the more you realize, oh, that's not cool. But when you go up there, they're usually cool about it. Just like, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? They're usually really cool. There's where the real Canadian accent comes from. Oh, you? What's this about? What's this about? But somebody else who's doing it wrong is the Big Show.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the Big Show said, and I got to do a wrestler voice once in a while. So here's what he basically says. Yeah, so I think it'd be cool if I could play the Kingpin in a future Marvel movie or TV show. And has this guy ever heard of Vincent D'Onofrio? Because no.
yeah, the
No.
Netflix actor.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah,
guy who played Kingpin in Netflix. Yeah, no, sorry, bud. Private Pile, we want him 1,000 times over you. So I don't know what Big Show would even do. Like, yeah, he could get into the physical stuff, but like, he's got the gimp legs. His legs are all gimped out. So like, what's he gonna do? He's got the knocked knees at this point. He can barely walk.
it's acting. He can pull it
Like
off.
he's gonna pull off what? Say like looking regal in the chair and whatnot, and talk like okay, so Wesley, what's the latest business stuff that we got to do? It's like, stop, stop. I've seen your Big show, and with all due respect, you can't even hardly play yourself. Stop, please stop. I love you to death, but stop. You're not going to be the Kingpin. We've got Vincent D'Onofrio. Thanks, but no thanks. Maybe he could play Guido. Is he Italian? Can you see him going up against the Hulk one of these days?
No.
Anyway,
the Batman TV show. Is that going to be Robert Pattinson though?
Well, we don't know. Here's the thing. So the Batman movie is definitely happening, but Matt Reeves was talking about the great opportunities of the announcement that was just made yesterday. I believe that's Saturday. Actually, I think it was Friday it was made, whatever, Friday or Saturday it was made, that HBOMax is going to have a Batman TV series, not Batman, but a the Batman movie inspired TV series going forward.
What the hell does that mean?
Exactly. So it's going to be a TV series about Gotham. Hey, haven't we had a Gotham TV series recently?
Oh, Gotham. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was canceled like abruptly. I wonder if this is why. It's like, let's cancel this Gotham TV series so that we could do a Gotham TV series, because that's logic in movies. So the Batman starring Robert Pattinson is going to be in a world of its own, apparently. And this world of its own is apparently going to lead into a TV series based on that world. So it's not a world in its anyway. And all these things are going to happen in there. Now, is it going to be based on the Penguin? Is it going to be based on the Riddler, like they kind of started to do with, the Gotham TV series? Is it going to be based on Commissioner Gordon, or what's it going to be based on? Will Robert Pattinson actually make appearances? We don't know. But according to Matt Reeves, this is a huge opportunity to tell a story that needs to be told in long-term terms, so to speak, So
it sounds like he likes what's happening over at Marvel, but he's got no authority to make attached universes. And so he's like, oh, we should do this. It's going to be a great idea.
Well, it's already been greenlit, though.
Well, it's a different world.
Yes.
We're living in an era of 2020 where everything is attached, and Disney Plus is making things united, unlike Netflix and Marvel ABC and Marvel Freeform that are just having, the Jeff Loeb universe. We actually live in a world now where the TV influences the movies, and we're going to do that going forward. He sees that, and he's like, we should do the same thing, except you just said different words.
Yeah. So it's going to be.
You already lost me.
Well, yeah, for the most part, but I think I'm seeing what they're doing. So this is kind of rumor-ish, but it's based on, I'll tell you what's rumor, what's not. The Justice League Dark movie. Excuse me, we know that that's coming out. It's going to be an actual live-action Justice League Dark movie. You can't have that without Constantine. Like, the past several itinerations have had Constantine in it, so nobody's going to complain about that, right? They've also been talking about trying to get Keanu Reeves to come back and play Constantine in that movie. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he won't. Who knows? Either way, there's also now going to be, there's also been talk of a TV series coming out for HBO Max for Justice League Dark. They also just announced that the Green Lantern Corps movie is still a go, and they're going to be doing a Green Lantern TV series also on HBO Max. So all of that I just reported is factual. But can you see the pattern that I'm seeing?
Are you insinuating that there's all these multiple universes and there will be some sort of crisis event on Infinite Earths or Flashpoint or something?
Well, it could be that they're all related, depending on how they're going to do it. Justice League Dark would be underground.
I'm saying they're all unrelated, but there will be an event coming in like 2025 where every character we know from this show, that show, CW, all these different networks and movies, all of a sudden it will all be one. That's what I'm saying is possible.
Well, they could do that. They could do that.
But if they don't do that, then I'm not investing in each and every one of these. I'm invested in the main DC universe, the one with Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman. There. Everywhere else, they can kick rocks.
Yeah, I'm barely even invested in the DCEU because it's failed.
That's what I named, right?
Oh, that's what it's actually called. Yeah, that's the one that you said. I'm barely invested in that because it's, I think the whole thing is kicking rocks at this point. But like here's Ben Grimm yelling out, "Stop kicking me." But here's the thing, Green Lantern Corps, that could take place in the same world that this the Batman world is in, because it's going to mostly be in space or in the sky. We're in Coast City, which is on the opposite side of the continent as Gotham City. Coast City is technically California area, and Gotham City is technically the New York, New Jersey area. And then there's also going to be Justice League Dark, which by nature, it's underground. That's the hidden recesses that could even happen in Gotham City and nobody would technically know about. Batman wouldn't know about it. Regular people wouldn't know about it. So you can have a whole bunch. You can continue doing a whole bunch of, here's this big movie. Now here's this TV series that comes to follow, that's related loosely or whatever related to that movie. You could have that. And this could be his whole world, the HBOMax world. This is something that would get me invested and possibly get me interested in buying HBOMax.
All right. Just wait for them to say, and playing Batman will be, and the name they say isn't Robert Pattinson.
Right. Well, that would probably be a good thing. I don't know. It's somebody who actually isn't going to try and set a precedent, and he's going to be like, I'm going to work out for the freaking role. I'm just saying. Yeah. Oh, man.
Next, it's the weekly Ray Fisher update. What do we got this week?
Okay, so Ray Fisher has been talking a lot of smack, and apparently I'm not the only one who's been saying, Ray, either put up or shut up. Dropping these little innuendos, and it's like, Joss Whedon is a bad person, and it was encouraged by Jeff Johns and that other guy that we talked about. Whatever, I got in my notes, and I just don't care. Yeah, I just got so tired of him constantly talking this, and I 100% retract these nice things I said about, Joss Williamson. Dude, if this guy peed in your cornflakes, I feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? But either put up or shut up. What did he do, or shut up? So he's basically saying, well, I'm going to shut up because I am under contract still. And my career in movies is probably already over because of what I said, but I don't want to get sued. So I'm going to shut up. Cool. I'll wait until your contract is up and then let's have a conversation. Because if what you're saying is real, well, hey, let's go. Let's go. Because I am definitely interested in hearing this stuff, but maybe he could have done that better. And he's young. Everybody makes mistakes. It is what it is. He also had something to say, some words of encouragement to Jovian Wade, who is the cyborg in the Doom Patrol TV series. Jovian returned the compliments. He's like, oh yeah, you're, an inspiration and stuff. I don't see that personally. I think Jovian Wade's cyborg in Doom Patrol, and I haven't watched the second season yet. I haven't watched any of it, but I've watched the first season, and sorry, he's a billion. In fact, there are numbers bigger than a billion. A zillion, a trillion, a zillion, a quadrillion, a dodecahedron, polyhedron, gajillion thing, whatever. He is infinitely better than I am cyborg. We will do stuff now. Yeah, exactly. I will now make the mother box. I have a second chance. Booyah. Like, dude, shut up. Oh my God. You sucked in that movie. You sucked in that movie.
Nah,
Please stop
he was the
giving words of
heart
encouragement.
of
Yeah.
the Snyder Cut.
He was the heart of the Snyder Cut. I can't wait to see all 4 parts of the Snyder Cut to see, was this guy actually anything? Because this was the most robotic. It's like he was a cyborg, not a robot. You know, like everything that I saw, like, did they really go around and just purposely cut out all the good parts of Cyborg? Because that was such a terrible, terrible representation of him. And then when this one, you know, Jovian Wade comes along in Doom Patrol, I'm just like, thank you, because Cyborg is actually cool. And Ray Fisher wasn't. So whatever, we're good now. So I don't think that he needs your words of encouragement. And I think that it's very polite that he said, you're cool. I don't even know if he said you're an inspiration, but he's like, you're cool too, man. And you're very inspiring. Yeah, whatever. It's like, because this guy's in a TV show, you think that you have to give him the nod? No. He gives you the nod. You're Ray Fisher. You didn't even get Finn.
You want them to release the Schumacher cut?
Oh, they're releasing it regardless. This is wild, dude. Think about the 2.5 year campaign. Maybe it was 4 years. Oh my God, like it was long. This campaign to get the Snyder Cut released, and all of a sudden Schumacher dies, and like, you know, for his Batman Beyond, or not Batman Beyond, for his Batman Forever. You know, he actually had a much longer cut, and it was darker too. It's like, so we're going to release the Schumacher cut. It's like, he didn't even have to ask. He didn't have to get fans behind it. He'd have to start dropping hints and stuff like that. He didn't have to go on a campaign and a personal tirade. Wow, he just gets it. Okay, cool. This is the one with Val Kilmer. Have you ever seen the one with Val Kilmer?
No.
Okay, this is the one where they played that Seal song, "Kiss from a Rose." Got played to death. Anyway, yeah. So this wasn't a great movie. I didn't have a problem with it, but it was a little bit too much like the neon lights and stuff like that. So I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I did read the novella. I read the novel before it came out. They stopped doing this with the original Thor movie. They haven't done this for any of the movies since. They used to always put out 2 weeks before the movie dropped. They put out the book so that you could. Well, yeah, of course there would be spoilers in it, but there would also always be extra stuff. I talked to you about the Star Wars, you know, spoilers for like Phantom Menace and stuff like that. You know, the interaction that young Annie had with the Sand People, you know, before his Attack of the Clones incident, right, where he actually became friends with them and there was an understanding. I've talked about like Iron Man 2. When he made the new element, in the book, it didn't happen in the movie, but in the book, he Jarvis, the AI, says, "Will you name this new element?" And he names it vibranium. He named it vibranium, which is like, well, you just canceled the Black Panther. You know, saying I was upset about that, but a whole bunch of little things. There was a whole bunch of little Easter eggs in there. You know, that whatever. In the book for what do you call it? Batman Forever, there were multiple scenes that simply weren't in the movie. And for me, the biggest scene was actually this moment where when Batman falls, young Bruce falls in the cave, he starts dancing with a giant bat who's actually the devil, and the moonlight is coming in through the cave. So while all these bats are flying all over the place, Bruce is dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight. Do you get that reference?
Is that a Beatles song?
Oh, no, it's different. All the old people are screaming at you right now. It's all right. In the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman movie, the original Batman movie, not Batman and Robin, Batman. What do you call it? The Joker, Jack Nicholson, said, I think 2 times in there, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" So it was like a really excellent, epic line where everybody was saying it to each other. It's like you're about to get into a fight or fake into a fight. You want to go? Let's go. Wait a second. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I ask that of all my prey. Like it's a great line. You know, you got to go back and watch that movie. It was good. Nicholson's performance is woof. You know, but he actually danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, and it's now been released recently that giant man bat creature was actually Man Bat.
Oh,
Yeah. Holy crap. In the trailers, even, I think they might have released something like that because I've actually seen an image of that. But anyway, so they're going to be releasing this much longer version of Batman Forever, and I am so down for seeing this.
so you just asked me to revisit that Batman movie from 1989,
Mhm.
and initially I'm like, okay, yeah, but it's got nothing to do with the movies today. So therefore, watching this film will do me no good. The knowledge that I'll attain from this will not be helpful in the next movie. That's where I am. I mean, I need connected universes. If you were to say go watch Iron Man from 2008 again because of something you mentioned, I'll be like, yeah, that's true. I probably should, because there may be a character in there in that movie who I didn't recognize, who may come to fruition in the 2019 Spider-Man movie, and I'll feel rewarded for understanding. But I guess it's not the same when it comes to these Batman movies from '89, because Batman's rebooted probably 3 times since then, right?
Yes, he has. It's still a great performance. It's where a lot of this came from. You can see this version. It's like if you don't want to watch it, you don't watch it. But I don't know. It's like telling somebody to go back. It's like, hey man, have you ever seen? You don't like The Matrix. I don't know what's a good, like Pitch Black, the original Riddick movie. Do you like the Riddick movies or no?
I'm not even sure what they are. I'm
Oh
more of a
wow,
like
Vin
comic book
Diesel.
movie guy. Oh, Vin Diesel. Yeah, I like him in Fast and Furious
Okay, yeah. So
and Groot.
I think that the original badass movie that he was in Boiler Room,
Uh-huh.
but he was in Pitch Black, and it was, to me, that was an amazing movie. You just get to see him acting like a true badass. Like, yeah, he's awesome. Anyway, so it'd be like, just go back and check out that movie, or don't.
I'll check out Iron Man 2 just to see Black Widow's origins, and then I'll see the movie, which had some news this week.
Yeah. So Black Widow, it's been released that it is actually going to be an origin movie because fans were expecting an origin movie. Here's the thing. It's not going to be Black Widow's origin movie. It's kind of what most of us expected. It's going to be Yelena Belova's origin movie, which leads to the speculation that she will, in fact, and this is Florence Pugh is her name, that she is actually at some point going to take over for Scarlett Johansson, because Scarlett actually says at one point, it's sort of like a figurative passing of the baton, she says.
And I hope it fails remarkably so that they can say, what?
Wow. No, keep going.
So should Black Widow's mantle be able to be passed, they'll feel like, whoa, we can do this. Okay, we're going to get every single other character will have their mantle passed. And I don't think that Black Widow is one of those passable things. Captain America, it's more like a title. Yeah, there's been captains before. He's out of the picture. I can see a Captain America, a second one coming. But
everybody who graduated from those ballet classes, in the Red Room,
they're all Black Widows?
They're all Black Widows, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought Black Widow was like her nickname.
Well, technically, yes, but they're all technically Black Widows. They all received the same training.
You said technically. So
yeah.
Her nickname is Black Widow. She's Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
If someone else graduates from the ballet school, they are also the Black Widow?
They can be, yeah. Like Yelena Belova is the Black Widow. She's the copycat Black Widow, because like it's like a retcon kind of thing that they've done. So yeah, like I said, any of them can be. They're also, they're setting up a lot of stuff in there. So I don't know. For me, I don't have a problem with it. Actors don't want to keep on doing the same movies. They don't want to be typecast. Maybe they want to get into something else that's going to make them more money.
Yeah, but she wants that.
But she might have a role as a tree to play in some other movie. The running joke, really? That's not funny to you?
That's not fun anymore, because we just covered this topic earlier with who was it? Javicia Leslie.
Yeah.
You guys, we can play anything we want to play. It's acting.
Mm.
Anthony Mackie is an actor.
Mm.
He had some things to say, and then the directors, the Russo brothers, backed him up.
Yeah, it was really so. if our audience remembers, we talked about how he was saying, there needs to be more diversity. Even in the Black Panther movie, if there's no white people, is that really diverse? It's like, well, there were white people, so I don't
There
understand.
was 2 prominent white characters in that movie.
And only one of them died, so I don't see the problem.
The other one didn't know what was in her drink and died too. That third one.
Oh yeah, there's that one chick in the. Okay, so there's a third one. Okay, so they had to get the white female also, just in case there's no representation.
I don't think that's why they did. They casted her for that reason. They're like, oh, we need white females. Let's do this scene.
That was like one of the best freaking scenes in any movie, though, in my opinion. I'm going to take this off your hands. That's not actually the way that works. Really? Did your ancestors ask my ancestors to get a hold of it? How did you think you guys got a hold of it? Oh my God, that was just like, yeah, butt cack. Boom! That was just a beautiful
scene. Killmonger. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Everyone's saying that Killmonger was right coming out of that movie, but I'm looking at it like, no, the Wakandans had it right the whole time. I wish T'Challa hadn't have changed his mind, hadn't have learned his lesson. We need to give aid to the rest of the world. No, Killmonger sees it as an American would see it.
Yeah, exactly.
We are all black, and therefore you turned your back on us. Their blackness, the Americans or the Western world, everywhere in the world, blackness is, or the black love or the need to look out for each other, that is stemmed from hatred, racism, oppression that came from the white man. Because if it's not, then it's just some pure evil. If you just value the life of a black for no other reason other than you're black yourself, that I think you need to have the backstory of it's us against the world and we have all these things against us. I think then you can say, all right, so that's the way that he thinks of it, the world. But Wakanda, the neighboring nations are all black themselves, and they just chose to say, no, this is our border and we're going to do us for the next thousands of years with our 5 tribes. So T'Challa has no responsibility to take care of the rest of the black world. I am king of Wakanda. That was what his answer was. I'm not the king of all nations. T'Challa was right. I wish he hadn't changed his mind. But I mean, if he wants to give help and give aid, okay, that's fine. But this is entering territory.
Here comes Bill's headcanon. What if Chillmonger? What if Killmonger, the other monger, the lesser of the 2 mongers? What if Killmonger was actually representative of Satan, and Nakia was actually representative of Eve? So therefore, the Adam figure, T'Challa, he was on the right path, and then he couldn't be convinced otherwise. But Eve was convinced by the devil, and then.
You ever think we'll get the devil? We'll ever get Mephisto in a Marvel movie? We're not there yet.
Yeah, but everybody's still looking for it. Remember, we were just reporting on, everybody thought that Ogun, the symbol for Ogun, the clear and evident symbol for Ogun was Mephisto because, there's fire and a red skull. It's like, you guys are freaking idiots. You call yourselves comic book channels?
Yeah, what idiots.
Wait, you thought that also?
No, I got theories like that all the time, so I don't want to put myself above all those other guys.
No, it's fine to have theories all the time. No, it's the idea that people saw the evident symbol of Ogun. Saying that we've seen since Shadowcat and Wolverine, Kitty Pryde Wolverine, those 6-issue limited series, which I have multiple of because it was that good, and I forgot that I had them, so I bought them again because they were that good. Anyway, like that's Ogun. And everybody's like, "Oh, Mephisto!" Stop reporting on things when you're not smart. Don't do that.
I'm sorry, I kind of detoured, but did you have something more to say about Anthony Mackie?
Yeah, actually, I didn't really get to say it, did I? So the Russo brothers both say, "Yeah, he's right." That's pretty much it. Oh. It was like the weakest answer. It's like, I guess we have to get involved, but we're not going to get involved. So let's give a very political, a very non-biased, non-partisan and very PC answer. Yeah, he's right. We can all do better. Okay, let's go back to whatever we were doing.
I'm going to read into that. And since they got to be all friendly, that's because they do have another Marvel project in the future and they don't want to burn that bridge. Yeah. If they got nothing to worry about, they would straight up just trash or give a stronger opinion, but they're playing it safe.
But they could be canceled.
Yeah. Comic-Con virtual schedule has been released. Are you
Yes.
satisfied?
There's some funny stuff on there. So the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday schedule has been released. The Sunday has not been released at the time of this podcast. So, the filming of this podcast. So maybe I'm pretty sure that by the time this podcast is released on Sunday, everywhere you can get your podcast from, boom, it'll probably be released by then. And definitely this is old news by Tuesday when it drops on the Comic Book University YouTube channel. But the schedule is released for the most part now. Marvel's big day is really Saturday. That's where most of their stuff is. They're going to have a panel where a whole bunch of people, including Teenie Howard, are going to be talking about the Ten of Swords and how even more issues have been devoted towards it, more tie-ins and spin-offs and everything. So you know how Empire lost 19 spin-offs? It looks like Ten of Swords gained them. So there's going to be even more. And they're like, and we want you to let you fans know how much you're going to love it. And I think this is going to be the thing that makes me fall off of the whole X-Men thing.
Yeah, for me, it was Children of the Atom. For you, it's this? Okay.
For me, it's just this whole thing. It's the Ten of Swords. It's like I'm lukewarm going into in the first place, but then you're adding things to it. And then you can have, I'm so like, I hate saying her name like this, but like Teenie Howard has just nothing but disappointed me and so many other people with her writing and the faith and confidence that everybody seems to have at Marvel in what she's doing. It's like, it's really frustrating. And she and all these people are going to say how we're going to give you more things to buy and let us tell you how you're going to love it. And it sounds almost Orwellian, half like Professor X, is mind controlling us at this point.
I got the opposite take on that. I think giving us X of Swords, but also stopping Hellions and all the other books so that X of Swords can happen. Ten of Swords, let me pronounce it correctly. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good thing. I think that it's just like House of X. All the X-Men titles stopped just so we can tell this story, and it's important. Doing it every week, that's a thumbs down, like more than once every single week. And then also Teenie Howard's writing. Let me defend her. I like it. I just don't like magic and all the stuff Excalibur deals with. But as far as the writing goes, every time I read it, I'm like, yes, I can see if you were a fan of these characters, of the setting, of other worlds and stuff, I can see how you could say this is good. I just don't care for Elseworld things and Captain Britain's and other people taking the name of Captain Britain because I know it's all going to return to normal, so why even invest? But the writing is fine.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
So you better get on that Teenie Howard bandwagon.
It's not going to happen. I've tried too many times. I've just tried way too many times. So this is literally my last hurrah. If they're so certain about this, cool, let's do this. Let's do this. But if it doesn't keep my attention going, this is going to be the thing that just makes me say, you know what? I could use more free time in my hands, not less. I could use more money in my pocket, not less. You're adding even more titles than were already there to an event that most people seem to be kind of lukewarm towards. So, and now you're going to tell us how much we're going to love it. Okay, I'm hoping. This is your chance, Marvel. This is your chance to get me excited over something. Other than that, I'll need to check out the first couple of titles, and the second that I'm bored, because now I'm forced to read Excalibur, a book that I didn't want to read, and that I was told.
It's not Excalibur. It's going to be chapter 6 of a 18-chapter story, 1022. It's not actually Excalibur. Yeah, the title will say that on the thing, but it's not actually that book.
Do you know the Arabic word for slap?
Oh, what is it?
Cuff.
Okay.
So if I slap you across the face, that's an insult, right?
Yes.
But if I say I didn't slap you, it was a cuff.
How's that related?
Are you going to be less insulted Because it's still going to be Teenie Howard writing the Excalibur book, but called
I
Ten of
just told
Swords.
you it's not an Excalibur book. It'll be the next part of the story.
But
Just
all of this stuff is involved when we were told we don't have to read it all. Now it's like, holy crap,
oh,
many of
yeah,
us have
I
to
don't
play
think you're
catch.
hearing me. It isn't
Uh-huh.
Excalibur. It's not a comic book called Excalibur. The title may be that, but it's not. The contents of it will reference whatever issue happened right before, which was probably called X Factor or X-Men or some other book you were reading, but it's not actually Excalibur. Consider it chapter insert number here. Don't consider it Hellions and X Factor. And
Sure.
if you're
Are we going to understand what's happening if we haven't been reading Excalibur? How about Fallen Angels?
That's right. Yes, you will understand what's happening based on all of the Ten of Swords stories that came before it. Unless Excalibur number 1 is Ten of Swords chapter 1, then yes, you're at a beginning point. You're fine. If Excalibur number 12, I should say, I don't know what number in the chapters it will be out of the 22, but you are fine. I'm not going to read. Look, Hellions number 3, I think, is the tie-in for Ten of Swords. I'm not going to read 1 and Hellions 2, but I'll be fine when I read Hellions 3 because I understand it's not actually a story of the Hellions.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I hope so. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, take my word for it. Take my word for it. And I want to take your word for how big a Sentinel can get.
Also, I find it funny that the one of the panels, I think it's going to be on Thursday, Friday, whatever, because the whole schedule's been released. One of the panels is going to be diversity and comics. How diversity and inclusion is actually a good thing. It's like they actually named it diversity and comics. You remember the YouTuber, your boy? Yeah. Now he calls himself your boy Zax.
I'm no selling it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks for the wrestling reference. Wow, like they're actually calling it. I guess he's just not that big of a deal for it to be the case. But like I saw that, I literally did a double take. I was scrolling down, glancing at things, like whoa. When I scrolled back up, I was like, hold on, who's hosting? What's going on? Like I was just shocked. But anyway, that's happening. So you were asking how big a Sentinel can get. A Sentinel can apparently get 26.3 inches tall.
26.3 inches? I'm not familiar with this American imperial system. How big is an inch?
12 inches equals a foot. So about 2 feet tall. So, boom. Yeah. Basically, yeah. A little bit shorter than the length of my arm. Maybe like from, I don't know, from here on.
Oh, you thought I was being serious. Yeah, I know what an inch is, but 26 inches is pretty small, isn't it?
So anyway,
you're giving me a real answer. I was trying to be silly.
Not if it's going to be a Marvel Legends figure, because all these guys behind me are 6 inches. Some of them are 7, but most of them are 6 inches tall. So a 26-inch Sentinel is going to dwarf my Devastator and my Unicron. Like that's how huge this figure is going to be. 26.3 inches. So that's 20.3 inches taller than these guys. Most of them are only like the Sentinel toys that we've gotten so far, whether it's the Hasbro one or the original Build-A-Figure. They're only about twice as tall. So they're like maybe 12 inches tall. This thing, maybe 18 inches tall, but or 16, 18 inches tall. But when you talk about 26.3 inches tall, with more than 70 points of articulation, 20 points of articulation just in the hands. Like this thing's going to be able to manipulate, grip things and whatnot. This thing is huge. There's going to be this is basically a crowdfunding thing. There's 3 stretch goals total. We don't know what the final 2 are, but we've already surpassed the first, and so guaranteed the first stretch goal, which is a replacement master mold head to replace the regular Sentinel head. Holy crap. It comes with a big foldable tentacle, shooting out of the hand that they show it grappling a 6-inch Wolverine, which is just epic. It's also going to come with a Bastion figure, 6-inch tall Bastion figure, which is the combination of Master Mold and Nimrod. Boom, Bastion. It's also going to come with an alternative head for Bastion to make it into a Sentinel Prime. Holy crap, I can't wait. There's a lot of stuff coming with this thing. So, and I can't wait to see what the next 2 stretch goals are. But the problem is, It's $349 plus tax US.
How big do you want it?
How bad do I want it? It's one of those things where I called my wife in last night. I was like, babe, I really need you to talk me out of this thing because I'm about to click, send. And they're like maximum of 5. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you put a maximum on it?
If you think of the space it'll take on your shelf, it's
That
about
was one of her two arguments.
$300 worth of other figures. Is that what she said?
300. It's going to be about $400 after tax. No, one of the things she said was she's like, it's too expensive, and you don't have space. I'm like, 1, I have the money. 2, I'm saying I can make the space for a Sentinel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, the
I'll
video
have
you
that
make,
thing on my back like Yoda.
like this one.
I'll have Yiddle on my back.
Well, when are they gonna do a trailer for that Mandalorian? I'm waiting for that.
I'm waiting for that trailer also. We'll see. We'll see. So
Since we're on
anyway, you guys, mind you, it already hit its stretch goal, and this thing has only been out for 2 days as of the time of this recording. So like, this is a huge deal for Marvel Legends. The chest and the eyes light up. Like, this thing is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah.
It's like a transformer.
Is kind of like a transformer, which, go figure, there's the July 30th. We finally have a release date for the Transformers Siege. Siege is a toy line. I actually don't have any of the toys here for Siege. I think I even got rid of my reflector, didn't I? I did. All the toys that I have here, I have actually, no, I have my Siege reflector, but it's in the camera form. That's not Siege. That's not Siege. My Quintesson here is not Siege. But, I have some of the Transformers toys in here. Most of them are in there. Anyway, so, yeah. They have the TV series coming out. So it's going to be a trilogy. We already know the first 2 parts. It's Siege and Earthrise, based on the toy line. We don't know what the third part of that trilogy is going to be yet. Maybe it's The Return, because the Siege is actually the stuff that happens on Cybertron. Earthrise is the stuff that happens on Earth initially. We don't know what the third part is going to be. So we'll see. Most of these TV series and the toy lines have been released in trilogies, though. So it's par for the course for Transformers.
Oh, yeah. I know nothing about Transformers. I'm just agreeing with you because I know you know your stuff. Tell me about Stan Lee and how he's been sold.
Well, this is a big deal. POW Entertainment is the company that was started with Stan Lee. He was considered a full partner, but no, he was not. He was never a full partner. It's always been shown, while they've tried to disclose, he's a full partner, it's always been shown that's not the case, because you can't sell the likeness and name and all that stuff of your partner, after he dies. And this is the case now. POW Entertainment is exactly what it is. It's not as bad as the previous entertainment, Stan Lee, whatever the hell that thing was. This is just a company where they were constantly trying to sue Marvel with frivolous lawsuits about, Stan Lee owns these characters, so we work with Stan Lee, so we want this, we want the ownership of the stuff and royalties. We're going to sue you. And every single one of them was thrown out of court and shot down because blah. Anyway, POW Entertainment has been in a series of lawsuits, litigation with Stan Lee's daughter. She's been saying, like, I want the rights to his likeness and whatnot. And just recently, just last week, I didn't report on it because I didn't see it as a big deal. I didn't realize this was actually going to be a fairly big deal. So now she lost that most recent lawsuit. It was thrown out. So now this week, it's been announced that POW Entertainment has sold their stuff to, what is this company called? Genius Brands. So at first I was a little bit worried. They're going to be in this batch called the Stan Lee Universe. They've already got one thing up, Stan Lee's Kindergarten, which is going to be all the, this big kindergarten where this guy, what's his name? I forget what it is. Arnold Armstrong is going to be the kindergarten teacher. And the voice actor is going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's basically going to be like a kindergarten cop thing. I don't know if you ever saw it. It doesn't tie into anything, but you might want to consider watching Kindergarten Cop. Is a great movie. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be the voice of Arnold Armstrong, and all of the students in his class are going to be superheroes. So that's actually kind of cute. Now, I was worried that this was going to be a silly thing because taking the likeness and the name and all that stuff, I'm literally thinking to myself, so if I say Stan Lee from this point on,
Can get demonetized.
well,
Come on.
exactly. Could I actually get demonetized? Could I actually get in trouble? Could I get, all these things? Well, if that does happen, then I'm going to be pretty pissed off. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Why? Because Genius Brands is actually a pretty reputable company from my understanding. I actually used to solicit a lot of their stuff back when I was younger, when my kids were born, my first kids were born. They have the Baby Genius brand of stuff out. They've got a whole bunch of, pretty fun cartoons and various forms of entertainment. They're actually legitimate entertainment that's already out there. You can find it on PBS. You can find it on Netflix. You can find it in toy stores. Like if you ever find Mastermind or any of those other, smart toys locations, you'll find their products in there. So they're actually reputable. They're not some cheesy little gimmick thing. But even his signature has been sold. So when you get another Marvel Legends figure like this guy, where it's got 2 signatures of Stan Lee on it, I see that they put that stuff out before they actually had the before this suit was settled. So that's interesting, and I have hopes that since all of his property has been sold there, also all the little comic book characters and whatnot that he made that really didn't go anywhere because POW Entertainment didn't have the money to the resources to really put this stuff out there. Hopefully some of this stuff can actually be sold and can actually, make some money for some people. So therefore it can actually get in our hands. Some of the stuff can be licensed. I don't know if they're going to be looking to make comic books off of these things, but they're definitely going to be looking for show writers. So you're talking about more jobs being created and hopefully locally in-house, but we'll see. So I'm actually pretty happy for this transition.
Yeah, I'm lost. When Stanley died, he had a will, right? Where did he say he wanted everything to go?
Oh, the problem is he didn't, and a lot of that stuff really wasn't in his control.
Okay.
I wasn't expected to get into this, but Stanley actually suffered from a lot of elder abuse from all the people around him, including family.
Including his daughter. I heard it. I heard allegedly. I wasn't there.
Alleged. That's more alleged than anything else, but
Mhm.
like he was even accused of, molesting or sexually harassing a nurse, and it turns out that was actually proven false. A bunch of people got pissed off at me because they said, listen, I'm willing to believe any investigation that they're going to do, but for right now, she's just going to the media and selling her story, but she hasn't gone to the police. She hasn't put in a report at her, she was a nurse, and she hasn't put in a report at her employer, at her employer.
Yeah.
Her employer. All the people around her, like all the fellow nurses, have gone on record as saying we don't believe her because like she's lied before, and this seems like another one of those cases. All she's doing is trying to make money off of this, and she refused to, go in and make police reports. So this is just nonsense. It's like you could at least report it to your employer so that we don't, send her back there and whatnot. But it's just a word of mouth thing. She doesn't want to put in reports. So like all of it. And I said, it just seems fishy. And I've had people like, oh, you're against women. So they like leave. It's like, dude, I'm not against women. This is the stupidest thing in the world. I'm for the truth. And I would love to believe her if she was even remotely believable, but she simply wasn't. And it's been shown afterwards. Oh, turns out that she lied. After she realized she's not going to make any more money off of it, she's like, yeah, it didn't really happen the way that I said it did.
Wow.
Oh, interesting. That's a great little, she can't even be admonished for that.
Well, if the nurses, the old nurses who've been there a long time say no, and then this new girl comes in out of nowhere and she says, yeah, he did it. That's enough evidence for me not to believe her. But like, let's just say it's true, and he's older. It's gonna sound like I'm making an excuse for him. But the filter that was there may have been deteriorated. Let's just say dementia or whatever it is. It's not there anymore, and therefore, what used to stop him is it's nature. It's no longer there. Those manners have been affected by old age. Is this similar to, there's a drunk driver? Well, he was drunk at the time, so we can't give him the full, manslaughter because you ran someone over. Is it the same?
No, it's not the same at all.
You're not in the same. You're not in your sane mindset. I'm not choosing an argument. I'm not
and
choosing
even
a side.
I understand. And even then, this was also reported after his wife died.
Okay.
This was the love of his life for how many years now? So all of it seemed very believable. But so the story itself sounded very credible to me.
Uh-huh.
It's all the other stuff that happened immediately afterwards where I'm like, okay, some of this crap just isn't making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the guys who are managing him, I mean, Neil Adams was the first person to say he's suffering from elder abuse. These people are abusing him, but since they're in his house and stuff like that, we can't even call the police on him. Kevin Smith was trying to reach out to him and it's like, Stan, come on my podcast, say hello, show me that you're alive. Lots of people reaching out and trying to, get to Stan, and they weren't having it. I know people who went to get his signature at, I think it was Las Vegas was the last place that they had, or maybe it was whatever. There was two last times. One of them was they were selling Stanley's signatures that were signed in his blood because they took a vial of his blood from the nurses. Gee, I wonder where that came from, And then the final time that he was actually out there on tour doing signatures, I think this was in California where he lives. Yeah, that's where that was the one guy who I know personally who went there and he didn't realize it was going to be this bad. He just had a whole bunch of signatures to get done for CGC and otherwise. What do you call it? He was just waiting for Stan to do all this stuff, and he was like trailing off and falling asleep. He had a blanket on him and a little he had a space heater on him, but no blanket. And he said, I'm cold. Can I have a blanket? And he just sounded so weak. And the guy's just like, should I just like take the rest of these and not make him sign these things? Like, this isn't worth it.
Uh-huh.
Like just refund these guys' money who asked for it. Like, this isn't worth it. Like, the guy actually started crying because of how badly, and like I forget what the name of the guy is, but the a-hole who was, in charge of him. I got into an argument with this guy when I met him up here in Canada. I didn't get into a shouting match because I was right next to Stan when he did this, but the guy was yelling at my wife, and I finally walked away. I was like, you need to calm down, son. Because I promise you, you're in Canada right now. You want to, play like this is America? Wrong answer, dude. We will have you thrown out of here. You need to calm yourself down. And it was a total bluff, but it worked. He's like, I need you to move on now. I was like, that's a better tone of your voice. And we walked out, but like this guy was screaming at people, and he's standing right over Stan. So it's like, but I think Stan's used to it by now because this guy was barking at my wife and Stan didn't bat an eye. And I was like, thanks, Stan, right before this guy started yelling. And Stan's like, oh, it's okay. Or, oh, you're welcome. Like that. Like, it was really cool. He didn't bat an eye at this guy screaming. So like he dealt with a lot of crap during that time. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they right away try to make some more money off of his name and sell it. But like I said, hopefully this is a good company. It seems like it's a good company and good stuff will come from this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will good stuff come from Paul Bettany and Johnny Depp's texts?
Okay. This is another one of those.
This week
right?
has begun with, okay, well, let's dig into
it. Like, there's a lot of believe the women stuff that we really have to buckle down and be like, listen, I'm trying really hard, but everybody, including the women in question, are doing their best to throw pie in our face, So we know that Johnny Depp has been canceled. He's been booted off of his Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which he was the only one keeping it together. Let's be realistic. Who the hell is going to go see this new Pirates of the Caribbean movie? You're going to go see it?
Johnny Depp is not in it?
He's not in it at all, apparently.
Well, I still like the franchise. I'll check it out.
Cool. Yeah. Everybody who I know is like, I have no interest in seeing this. I'll wait until it comes to Netflix. And I'm like, I don't have any interest in the Pirates with or without Johnny Depp. I don't care. I just wasn't interested in the franchise. My kids love them, but I don't. Say my older kids love them. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. But he was canceled immediately when
it's not an official status. Marital status, single. Canceled, yes.
No, in his case, I feel like it really is because he was booted from his movies. He can't get jobs anymore for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Um, what do you call it? Like he's been booted from Hollywood for the most part, and the press coming down hard on him. And I'm going to give you an example of with this case right now. But just the quick backstory. So he's done. But meanwhile, they're still saying nice things about Amber Heard. Meanwhile, there's all this audio tape where she's admitting to drunken and infuriated rages of beating him up and yelling at him and hitting him, calling him all sorts of names, belittling him. He's got the Wino Forever tattoo, but meanwhile he's like, I'm trying not to drink. So she makes fun of him and belittles him for the Wino Forever. It's like, meanwhile you can't drink while she's drinking in front of him and stuff like she's just a terrible person. It was a short-lived marriage, whatever it is, what it is. But with her coming out and saying this stuff, it's like you could have just let it go. But right away you took it as I am a woman. People are going to believe me anyway, so I'm going to lie my ass off. And I'm sorry, anybody who's going to sit here and say, believe Amber Heard, you either are living in a box, because I don't go out of my way to listen to this stuff. Yet all of this stuff is coming to me. Like, it's being thrown in my face, and I'm just like, all right, let me listen to this freaking audio tape. And I'm like, yo, that's really her. That's really him. Yo, she acknowledged that this should come out. She gave the okay for this to come out. Why would she do this? Is so damning.
Well, you see, you expect people to realize their mistakes, admit to them, and say, I was wrong. But more often, people will just double down on their opinion.
Yeah.
When they shouldn't.
You can't change some people's minds.
Even with newly presented evidence.
Yeah.
I believe I never knew about the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff until the Amber Heard tapes came out. And then I did some research and I'm like, okay, it looks like Johnny Depp's not in movies anymore. And Amber Heard is the reason why. So I was never there for the beginning of this episode. But I can see myself believing the Amber Heard story immediately just because of she's the woman, he's the man. I believe it. There's so many examples.
Because that's what we're No. That's what we're socialized to believe.
No, fuck that. It really is that bad. The men are really that bad to women.
Men are really that bad to women?
Not every single human being who's a man.
Okay, cool. In a relationship, who's more likely to hit somebody? Statistically.
I don't know.
Women.
Okay.
Women are more likely to hit their man. But since women
hold on a minute now. When you're gathering these statistics, are you not considering that it's kind of embarrassing as a man to admit that a woman hits me, therefore I will not answer correctly?
Yes.
Honestly?
I'm also going to point out the idea that 75% of the homeless population in America is males. Do you want to venture a guess as to why?
I guess a woman can sleep with any man at their house?
No. Wow. No. Because men don't have the social safety nets that women do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I took that a completely different way.
Really did.
Hey, it's true though. It's true though. If I'm a woman and I have.
So listen, like I'm not here to do men's advocacy. I'm here to think as a logical human being and to not just go with herd mentality. I don't believe that nonsense.
You better take that logic stuff out of here. This is Comic Book University.
I'm going to wind up getting canceled, you know, and whatever. If that's what people want, if people don't want to listen to me because I won't right away believe a lying ass bitch like Amber Heard, okay, let's go. You know, saying I'm happy to be canceled by you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being dead honest when I say Johnny Depp, like he had his finger cut off because she threw a freaking bottle at him, missed the first time, so she threw another one, smashed against the freaking bar that he was leaning up against, and it severed his finger. He tried forever to get his finger saved. He had to miss acting role. I think it was for The Lone Ranger. One of these movies kept on being delayed, and everybody was saying it's because Johnny Depp was getting drunk. No, he was trying to salvage his finger in surgeries over and over and over again. He was someplace, he had to go back to Los Angeles to do this, though. Like, the dude was trying to save a body part. Like, this guy has been abused, and he took it because he doesn't want to say anything, because as men, we're social. Let's be realistic. We're socialized. Men don't hit women. My father told me he will beat the shit out of me if I ever hit a woman. I have never hit a woman. I have never in my life hit a woman because men don't hit women. But I've been hit. I've been hit by ex-girlfriends. I've been hit by, well, I don't want to get too much into it, but I've been hit before by women. And I never said anything about it. But God forbid, I even gave like a dirty look back. I'd be ostracized. Courts, police, all sorts of things like that. Police, like it's a law in Canada. I just want you to know this. It's a law in Canada, as well as most states in America, that the aggressor has to be arrested in a domestic violence or in a domestic dispute. And the aggressor is 9+ times out of 10 the male, even if he never raised his voice once, God forbid, raised his hand. Because it's always socialized in us, the man is the bad guy. The man is the one who's violent. You know, that is out of this freaking world crazy. And we really have to double down and look at some of the stuff. The women have to be believed. The women have to be respected. Investigations need to be done. But we also need to recognize that men are socialized to not show emotion, because God forbid we do. All of a sudden, oh, you're a sissy, you're a crybaby. You know, saying if you show, you know, if you cry, you know, or if you sniffle, you know, saying if you get angry, oh, typical man, typical man. Meanwhile, a woman can yell and scream and slap and spit in the face of a guy the second that he just says, you know, whatever. Dude, there was just a case right outside my door. Like right outside my door where people called the police, and I actually had to go outside and give witness testimony because they were getting ready to arrest this guy. He never hit this woman. He never did anything. He was actually just trying to go inside with his kid, and he lives in this neighborhood. She doesn't, and she was trying to take the kid away and whatnot. It's like apparently it was his day. So like fortunately he had the records on the show. This is my day in the, you know, the dispute thing, but she got mad at me. So she's going to punish me by trying to, you know, not let me take my kid today. So she tried to say, oh, he beat on me, he hit me and whatnot. And just her screaming right away, people called the police. This guy's hitting this girl. So there were multiple witness accounts on the phone that he was beating the crap out of her. Meanwhile, no, I witnessed the whole damn thing. I was sitting outside when it happened. And I'm just like, dude, like I'm outside playing with my kids. And I'm just like, I do not want to get involved, but this freaking guy's going to get arrested for over a lie. So I went up and I gave detailed witness testimony, my name, address, all this stuff, and you know the phone number and everything. And he's like, "You literally came just in time."
So did they arrest Amber? Did they arrest the wife?
No, they didn't arrest anybody.
Huh.
Even though I gave witness testimony that she lied. That she lied. Can't arrest a woman because otherwise it'll be. And I can understand this because then it'll turn around and it'll look like, oh well, if we arrest a woman for a false accusation, then maybe other women will think I don't want to make an accusation because if I'm not believed, then I'll be arrested. So while a man can get arrested for lying to the cops, a woman, if she's saying that a man hit her, she can't be arrested by the cops.
It sounds like there's a bunch of Amber Heards ruining it for the genuine women who are being harassed and abused and things.
Women can be abused. Right. I'm sure there are many women who are in domestic violence situations. The problem is there are some situations where that's simply not the case. And I don't want to get into every single one of them because I don't know. And I'm just smart enough to know what I don't know. But in this particular case, Amber Heard admitted that she was wrong. Anyway, just think about the way that this is being reported, because here's the actual story for this week on this. Paul Bettany apparently got into a text conversation with Johnny Depp. So apparently Johnny said something about burning Amber Heard. Okay, like burning her. So, excuse me, this is right after one of those things where whatever, he got beaten up. He got a phone thrown at him at this point. So he's talking to his friend Paul Bettany, who plays the Vision in WandaVision and the Avengers. Bettany writes, "I'm not sure we should burn Amber. She is delightful company and pleasing on the eye. We could, of course, do the English course of action and perform a drowning test. That's something that you do to test if a witch is a witch. If she floats, she's a witch." Anyway, so thoughts. You have a swimming pool. He says that as a statement. Wow. So I'm going to get into why I'm chuckling about this. So Depp replies, "Let's drown her before we burn her. I will effing burn her. I will asterisk, 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 burn her corpse after to make sure she's dead. I don't know if you could burn somebody after they're waterlogged. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. So the MCU star Paul Bettany then responds, "My thoughts entirely. Let's be certain before we pronounce her a witch." Boom. That is the conversation. This is actually in a lawsuit between Johnny Depp and The Sun. I believe it's The Sun, which is an English newspaper that reports bull. It's like the National Enquirer and nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's the Bigfoot and UFOs and stuff like that. So, and Tupac is really living on an island in Jamaica. Sometimes they get it right. So anyway, so he's in a lawsuit with them, and Amber Heard decided to show up for each day in those cases because I don't know, whatever. She's trying to do whatever she's trying to do. But this is one of those examples of guys trying to relieve stress. Is it a smart thing to say? No. Do women say the same things? Yes. You know what I'm saying? I've been in conversations where women forget that I'm in the room, or that some guys are in the room when they talk about he did such and such and such. Let's cut off his dick and throw it down a disposal. Freaking Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's wife, is on. You can find the video. Her on her nationally syndicated TV show laughing about this happening. It's like, I think it'd be fun to watch it, to see it cut off and going down the garbage disposal and things flying everywhere. I think that'd be fun to watch. I just think it'd be so silly. It's like they're laughing about it. So I'm just saying, if that is okay, cracking jokes about this after a guy has just been abused, I think that should be okay too, because it's literally just people letting off steam. Is it smart? No, it's not smart on the other side either. But you know what? It's supposed to be behind closed doors. And how did they get a hold of this text anyways? That's what I'm really concerned with. Like, whoa, dude, how did the Sun get a hold of this stuff? Do they have spies in the CIA?
Scholastic and Marvel.
Are you kidding me? You're just going to try and end this?
Well, I don't have anything more to add. We're on the same page with this.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. I think I was waiting for you to say something else. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. I said the way that the press is reporting this. Despite everything else that's happened, and this, like, all this admission from Amber that you're basically saying, I'm guilty of hitting you and throwing things at you and cutting off your finger and you just got to be a man and stuff like that, saying all this other nonsense that she's been saying, and the press trying to be silent about that. Suddenly the press jumps on this and they start calling this exchange of text abusive text messaging.
Yeah, which publications were they?
Dude, I don't know. I don't remember which ones they were. It's going to be one of those stupid things. I'm going to say something stupid now. It was so many I can't point out which ones. You know what I'm saying? But look it up. Paul Bettany, Johnny Depp, abusive text, and you'll see the headlines and whatnot. And of course, I had to read a couple of them just to see like what's all, so that I can get this text information. Actually, here, this particular one. Oh, crap. This one's off of We Got You Covered. But anyway, here, actually, I could go back. And who else is reporting this? Daily Mail, The Star, Metro, freaking CBR. Of course, the Comic Book Place is going to be in the Cinema Blend, Mirror, a lot of UK places because this is happening in the UK. So mirrorco.uk. Let's go to the next page because the world doesn't just happen on there. Oh, Mickey Rourke is defending on The Independent. Mickey Rourke is jumping to Paul Bettany and Johnny Depp's defense. Who else? LB Times, The Guardian. There we go. That's one of the bigger ones here. Anyway, yeah, there's just scroll through and see. Like, I'm on the third page now. There's a bunch of people reporting on this. Pop Sugar, I don't even know what the hell that is. Anyway, so yeah, there's a bunch of them doing that. So I'm gonna close that out. So the idea that they're reporting it as abusive text, I'm sorry, bro. Like, we need to start reining things in at some point because words matter. You know, when you say abuse and abusive, doesn't it usually have to be a victim involved? And now if texts are abusive, can we just stop for a second and look at Twitter?
Mm.
Can we also look at road rage? Because you're usually in the same mindset. I was driving today and somebody stopped very short I was getting my Batman and Superman Dark Knight Returns figures. I was going to pick them up from some guy not too far away. And this guy stopped short at a light that just turned yellow. He stopped short of the yellow. I'm like, dude, I was close enough to go through this light. But more specifically, stopped so short that I had to actually slam on my brakes and all the stuff in my front seat go down. My tires didn't squeal, but I could feel my car. And I was just like, you stupid mother. But meanwhile, the windows were up, so it didn't get out there. But I'm just like,
that's actually how it sounded.
right? It's you stupid motherfucker like that. And I'm like, let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. And he drives off, and I count to 2 before I actually start pulling off and just whatever, because like, I don't want to necessarily beat this guy up, but like, you stupid freaking idiot, learn the difference between a yellow and a red. You were close enough that you should have gone through the light. You don't freaking stop. So anyway, like, so what was that abusive also? Like, I just don't understand what's happening in the world today. And at some point, this has to end. At some point, somebody's got to put an end to this and just be like, okay, can we all just stop and pull our heads out of our asses and recognize what's actually happening in the world? An abusive text that never made it to her. If he made that kind of text, I could see it being threatening to her, like, I should burn you and things like that. But he's never said things, according to all the witness, all the text, all the information, the what's it called, the evidence that we have. He's never said anything like that to her. He's never been threatening, intimidating, nothing. And if anything, she lambastes him for walking out when she starts an argument. She starts a fight and he walks out. And that's one of the reasons why she says she blows up on him and makes it worse. Exactly. He's a superhero for that.
Yeah, that's what you do in that situation. You stop assaults from happening. You stop from aggressions. You solve the problem by leaving the problem. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So which Marvel superhero is he going to play next? Because he's clearly a superhero for that, right? So why is it that the press can't just report on this fairly? Are the press afraid of actually being canceled themselves?
Yes, that's you've nailed it. Because they don't want to look bad in history. They want to be on the right side of history.
Yeah. Well, or at least the side of history where everybody's screaming the loudest.
Just tell the truth and you're fine. Like, you report the news. Don't double down on, it's Amber Heard is still the victim here. Look at these texts.
That's not what's happening.
No. The future of Marvel is not what's happening over at Scholastic, because for some reason, the 3 heroes that they decided to show to our kids are Shuri, Miles Morales, Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. What? Why them 3? They're not even the most popular of the 3 new heroes. One of them is in a movie, sure. But like, I guess Spider-Man is in an animated movie, and then Kamala is on the TV series. Fine. They're no Iron Man. They're no Avengers. They're no Black Panther. How are you going to go? I'm sure like the Black Panther will appear in the Shuri graphic novel, excuse me. But still, they went with the wrong ones. It's a good idea, though. It's branching out. It's a new audience. And I'm sure the prices should be low so that you can create fans here. And then all the money that you're not really making here, because they probably shouldn't profit too much when they're selling these books to the kids. The idea is that you made a customer for life. So that's what I would do. I'd have these really, really cheap graphic novels just to familiarize your fan base, these young fan bases, with buying comics. Pokemon is doing the same thing. They've got this app on your phone. It's free. There's no digital purchases inside. The only thing that you put it in front of your washroom, you brush your teeth, and there's Pokemon in front of you. It's meant for kids. But as you brush, you defeat all the Pokemon. I haven't played the game, but it's to introduce Pokemon to these 4-year-olds at a time where you as a parent are trying to get your kids to brush their teeth. It's genius. and these kids will become fans, and they'll buy the $80 video games when they're in their 20s. Same thing here with Scholastic Marvel. So I like that for that idea, but the first 3 heroes they're going with are not the first 3 I would be going with.
I hear you. You even mentioned Black Panther. I guess Black Panther because the movie.
Shuri is getting it, but
yeah, you said how come not the Black Panther? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I don't know. I guess because the movie, like I grew up with Black Panther not being particularly popular. You know what I'm saying? I love the character. I used to always be like, oh, this character, and people are like, what? But I don't know. For the most part, for me, I guess they can always introduce a Spider-Man, like a Peter Parker Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, the quote unquote real Spider-Man, and it's gonna sell. The Hulk
quotes right out. He is the real Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, okay, so in italicization, so that he's emphasized. The real Spider-Man, the Hulk. You could always introduce these characters at any moment, and they're going to be immediately recognizable. But
no, these are kids. Remember, they don't have that immediate recognizabilization.
But the parents do. And the Scholastic book, I still get those things with, my kids, and I'll just, sit there and be like, hey guys, do you want to get and I'll right away, be like, oh, what about the things that, I'm familiar with, that I know? But the ones that they want are usually not the ones that I look at for them.
What did they get? Raina Telgemeier?
I don't know what that is.
She's apparently a popular graphic novelist for kids. I guess not that popular.
Well, not for me. I'm not a kid anymore. I just turned 45, damn it. So I don't know. I kind of look at it as you want to introduce these characters, Kamala Khan is about to be the head of this video game. You know, something we were just talking about last week. It's kind of a big deal. Shuri, I don't know about the Shuri thing. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, like you said, one of the biggest things that these guys have done over at Sony was that Into the Spider-Verse, and Miles was the main character in that. Do it. So they can always introduce an Iron Man, and these are going to be the faces that everybody's going to recognize and be like, yeah. But I guess you want to start off with these characters. I don't have a problem with it. They made this decision, and it's like I'm not in the financial board meetings or anything like that. I'm not in the marketing meetings. They decided to go with these characters. Let's see what happens.
And if you're doing 3, you might as well do like the Avengers, and then Shuri, and then Miles.
Maybe the Avengers as a whole is too much for a 4-year-old. I don't know.
That's why all the Pokemon games are really easy nowadays, because.
And even then, in America, that would be preschool. Here, kids actually start in Canada at 4 years old. You start kindergarten at 5 years old. There's only 1 year of kindergarten in America, so just for the American audience.
So.
Huh? Oh, that's why we're better? That's funny.
No, The King in Black. That was a great trailer. Marvel is killing. I've been telling you guys about these Marvel trailers that they put on their YouTube channel, where it's a picture that Ryan Stegman drew, but for some reason they've got him flapping his wings, flying on his way to Earth. It's crazy.
They don't look bad. Don't look bad. I'm trying to learn how they actually do that, because I would love to be able to do stuff like that. Saying just throw that in really quick. But
it probably has something to do with the way Ryan Stegman draws it. He probably draws them at pieces, and then when they can, no, maybe not. Actually, I don't know. I'm guessing about something. I have no idea what they do.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not a computer guy. How are you gonna like the events?
Well, I don't know, but I know that if anybody wants to know what it looks like, they can get a reaction from you on Chillmonger on YouTube, right?
That's what everyone should do. Everyone should right now just stop the podcast, go to my channel, and subscribe.
There you go. Get you above 540, man.
I need to start doing that at the beginning of this podcast. I know it's a wrong to do that because it sounds like you're begging, but those are the guys who have all of the subscribers.
They really are. I wonder if I would say, like, hey, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share. I wonder how many subs I would get if I actually did stuff like that.
But I don't want to be that guy. And
yeah, exactly. I know. I just grow it organically. So whatever. You'll feel better about yourself. There's that. So I'm happy to tell people, go subscribe to Chillmonger. Bang.
I do it at the end of my videos. But like, if you're at the end, you probably are a subscriber because you're invested that much to last.
Nah, your videos aren't that long to begin with, so it's easy to stick
Purposefully.
around for a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the King in
I
Black,
respect you and your time. Sorry, go ahead. King in Black.
it actually does look really good. This is going to be a huge event. I love that Kate said, I'm surprised that Marvel is letting us do this. Now, I've been, at your recommendation, I've been watching a couple of the comics tropes videos that are out. He just had a Robert Kirkman interview that's now being reported on by all these different comic book companies. Well, according to the interview that they had on Comics Tropes, like, you could get these scoops also, jackass. You don't have to be like watching other people's stuff and getting this stuff secondhand. It's so booty. Anyway, also Comics Trope needs to learn how to do an interview. I'm just gonna put that out there. I love you, brah. I love you, but stop interrupting your guest. We don't want to hear you. when you're doing an interview, we want to hear the person you're interviewing. Stops. And plus, at one point, he was like, somebody's like, yeah, and then such and such happened. He's like, that's messed up. He's like, and Kirkman was like, he paused for a couple seconds. It was very uncomfortable. And he's like, actually, I understand why they did that, and I agree with them. And such is like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. It's like, just stop, please, just stop, just shut up. I love you, man, but the same advice I give to everybody: shut up when you're doing an interview. That's what you do in an interview. You shut up when the person is finished talking. Then shut up for another couple seconds.
Just to make sure.
Because maybe they're going to be like, you know what? Now that I think about it, you never know what you're going to get. That's where the real gems are. After that, then you ask another question or follow up or whatever. But shut up is the first rule of Fight Club, of Interview Club. Anyway, so yeah, shoot. They the King in Black, he says at one point, anyway, so on Comics Tropes, the one time last year they did the Immortal Hulk thing. It's like, how did Marvel do this video? How did Marvel allow this version of the Hulk to come up? They're usually very, conservative about horror stories and things like that. But this is like how they do that. It's like, wow, yeah, I've said the same thing in my reviews. So agreed. How did Marvel say that this is okay? Well, now Donnie Cates is jumping on that exact same thing. I don't know how Marvel let us do this, but man, we're doing some crazy evil stuff. So it's this is supposed to be a big thing.
He probably wins. Null wins.
Like Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
That would be something. That seems to be a typical thing that Cates does. He makes the bad guy actually win at the end.
Yeah, he should. He should kill all the heroes, and then they go to Krakoa. Like, okay, let's bring back Spider-Man. Let's bring back Captain America. Let's bring back. Well, do we bring back Captain America older or younger? I don't know. What happens? Like Tempest can get really creative when she ages Captain America. She might, I made him too old. So I don't get it. How does this work? So I got to put him in ice for a few years. Like, anyways, we got a Captain America back.
You know what? Just age his head, so he's got an old man head, but like the regular boom buff body.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. October is going to be really good at Marvel. Champions and the Outlawed events. Those things are also coming out. I saw a tweet by Saladin Ahmed.
About damn time.
Yeah. And Eve Ewing's writing something I've been missing for a long time. Her comic book writing, yeah. So
hey, just really quick, the Snowflake and Safe Space have been canceled, right?
No, I don't think that has been canceled because Saladin announced that Miles and Ms. Marvel and Champions are back, and since those are Outlawed related, I thought that also meant New Warriors is coming because it also had Outlawed on their title, on their cover.
I thought I saw something where they'd been actually canceled by the people who made them, which would make me happy. Would make a lot of people happy.
That's stupid. That's an opportunity to make money, whether you like it or not. And I'm still indifferent, everyone. If you're new to this podcast, it's episode 24. You may not have heard our thoughts when this initially came out, but I was just like, okay, let's see it. I'm not offended by Snowflake and Safe Space, and I'm not offended. Sure. I just satire.
I just, like I said, I just think it's so stupid. I'm not offended.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, whatever. We'll see. Because yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, here's an opportunity to make money off of this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also putting this blight on the name of your company, and it's one of the most idiotic things in the world to do. You really don't want to. If you keep on, like, basically, Marvel has done silly things before that has caused their company to be put into bankruptcy. before. They've practically broken the comic book industry before. So, they could do it again by just making it so that everybody just looks at this and says this is stupid.
But this isn't going to break the comic book industry. This isn't ruining Captain America, Spidey, Hulk, the people that earned them their dollars. This is creating something completely new.
But it could be contributing to it. Much like it's like you have this thing being held up by one pillar? No, you have multiple pillars holding it up. So if you break one of those pillars, it might still be up there, but it's going to be a little more wobbly. It's going to be less stable than it was before. So
I think the publicity has helped it more than it's hurt it. We'll see.
I am not a believer that there's no such thing as bad press. I'm not one of those believers.
I think bad press can hurt your company. Like the guy, is it called Goya, that Spanish guy who just endorsed Trump? He's a Latino guy and he just endorsed Trump. All of his customers are Latino, so it's probably going to hurt his bottom dollar. So yeah, there is bad publicity in that sense, unless they're like a lot of people want to support him now who are Trump supporters. I guess it could work either way.
Dude, Wendy's, lots of companies, Home Depot, Lowe's, they're all like, yeah, we send money to the Trump campaign, and right away it's
filed for taxes is probably
dropped.
Yeah. So like back to comics. I forgot. What was I gonna say?
The October releases.
Oh man, the example I was making, the reason I brought up bad
Champions
so these new characters. Marvel themselves didn't shoot themselves in the foot. What they tried to do was introduce new characters on a team book, and they're secondary on that book. It just so happens that the people, the fans, the viewers, ran with these new warriors rather than the new warriors. We're going to actually get the book, guys, and we're going to find out that Space Place and Safe Space and all them guys, they're all going to be having a minimal role in these comics.
That's Chill's headcanon?
Chill's headcanon this week is something that's probably your headcanon too. It involves Logan and Jean.
They banging.
I'm pretty much sure it's happening. We'll never get an image of it. We're not going to get the Batwang, the Wolverwang.
Wolverwang.
He's going to snick into Jean. So
stick deck.
Snacked. It'll be snacked, huh?
Well, snicked is when they come out, and snacked is the sound when they go in.
I never see snacked.
Well, you haven't been a fan as long as I have. I'll show you.
The comic.
Yes. What? Don't get too excited there, bro.
My headcanon is that they are together. I think it counts as headcanon. This may be really, really obvious to you, but we've never actually seen them doing anything crazy. We haven't even seen them kiss. All we saw was them in a hot tub, her hugging him, and okay, that's enough for me. With all the other evidence, I can combine and surmise that they are an item.
Beer.
I don't know what's happening on Krakoa.
Drink his beer, babe. Dude, just like here's my headcanon. Do you think that when Wolverine gets out of the tub, there's just like a massive clog in the drain?
I'm
thinking
what substance
of his hair. Dude, like this guy is such that if he laid down on the road, I think that what would be funny is how hairy Wolverine is. That image of Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool costume laying down in the bearskin rug, that's actually Wolverine from the comics, not Hugh Jackman, but actual Wolverine from the comics down there. I think that like we should get a Roomba and just have it go over Logan and see what happens. Like that's his bikini wax. It's a Roomba wax. Because like that dude is freaking hairy, man. I'm saying when you drain the tub, this dude has got to have like the thing just clogged, like Sasquatch escaped down his freaking. That's why we've never seen Sasquatch, because he's always escaping down the freaking drain. Like, wow.
A lot of hair for a short man.
5'3", but you take off all that hair, he's only like 4'2".
LOL.
Lol. And that's it for the podcast this week, guys. So, good hour and a half full of content for you. Hour and 33 minutes. There you go, whatever. And we will talk to you guys later. Chill Cannon. You want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everybody.
Talk to y'all later. Class dismissed.